Yeah, I'm different. I'm different. Yeah, I'm different.
Hello, Craig.
Hey, what's going on?
NBA Live is going on.
Yeah, it is.
We had the chance. A couple developers came in last week, and we had the opportunity to see the game.
Yeah.
It was mostly graphics
Yeah.
and in-engine stuff. They didn't really show a lot of the gameplay. I
Right.
mean, they did a little bit here and there. They kind of had it seemed pre-recorded, like they went into a replay of the game that they had played and kind of were just going through, fast-forwarding, rewinding.
Yeah.
But what were your initial thoughts on what you saw?
Well, I'll say this. Over last year's game, it looked a lot prettier. The details that they put on the characters and the jerseys, the courts look great. We didn't get any of the sound or any of the gameplay or anything like that, but it was definitely good to see, the sweat on the players and, everything just looks next gen. I mean, that's definitely something that's important for EA coming into this generation and coming into their next iteration of this game series. Because, obviously last year it was kind of a flop. They kind of fell on their face to most people's assertion of it. But I think at the same time, they're making improvements steadily but surely. I don't know what the gameplay is going to be like, but it's definitely going to be. It looks to be so far better than last year's. And if they're going to, go in that trend of like making it better visually or just making it better with gameplay or whatever they're going to do, adding features, it's definitely going to get into more of a competitive, battle back and forth with NBA 2K in that series.
Yeah, it was really refreshing when they came in. They were so open, so honest. They're like, "Hey, last one we messed up. NBA 14 we messed up.
Yeah.
This next one's going to be the real deal.
Yeah.
What do you think they need to do to compete with 2K?"
Well, at the moment, all they really need to do is have a solid game. They don't need to knock it out of the park necessarily because they still have live fans. They still have a core, market that they're really trying to reach, and I think their fans are waiting for them to have a solid game. You're always going to have NBA 2K. I mean, it seems like it's always going to be around, but I think, as long as you have competition and once 2K starts to see that they have solid competition, they're going to have to then kick it into high gear and start putting in new features, new improvements to the games that they're putting out. And so you're going to have that kind of, up and down between the different series again, like we had in, the mid 2000s. So that's, I think, the biggest thing right now. They can't really think too far ahead of themselves because if they do that, then they're going to start putting in features that are, basically eyes bigger than your stomach, and getting into that territory. So you really want to just be able to put out something solid and get people back on board with the franchise.
Get back on track.
Get people to trust you again, because that's one of the things that happens when you let people down, especially consecutive years in a row, and then you finally put out a product that's not that great. You're not really giving people that confidence that you can come with something that's solid. And when you do something like that, you have to knock it. You don't have to knock it out of the park, but you have to put out something that's really, going to give them a sense of trust that they can hold on to for the next year and the next year and the next year. I think one of the things that they did with Live 14 was they started to put out patches for that game as the year progressed. So they had like graphics packages and they updated some players and stuff like that. Things like that show that they are dedicated to the franchise. They're dedicated to their fans. And, if you can have something like that and improve upon it year over year, then you're going to bring your fans back and you're going to, be solid competition. And it's going to improve the market for basketball video games. And, hopefully the whole sports, world will, or the whole sports gaming world at least, will recognize that, hey, there's competition in this sector again now, and so maybe we need to step up our game too.
Yeah. So I played NBA 2K12 and then a bunch before that. Took a couple years off, sporadically. Do they have the same features of Live as up to the minute updates? You know how NBA Live does? This happened in real life. Now it's in the game.
Yeah.
Does NBA 2K do the same thing?
2K has this feature where you can go in and play games from last night or games that are going to happen today. I'm not 100% sure about 2K14. I mostly play the My Player mode and some of the online modes, but I think they have some situational gameplay where you can actually select a game, and based on the scenario of, a really big game that just happened recently, you can go in and play that same scenario with the same amount of time left. But I'm not 100% sure about that. But I do know that you can play a game that's, scheduled to happen today, or you can, go back and play some of the games that happened, previously on the schedule in the actual NBA.
Cool. And then, just with 14, the last one, it was so imbalanced. It was all about dunking. The animations were all messed up. When we asked them about it, they knew everything that had been messed up. They knew all the complaints of the last one, and they assured us that they were going to fix them. So that to me was just refreshing and comforting.
Yeah.
And they're going to come back in a couple weeks to show more gameplay.
Right.
So
I'm excited to see gameplay. I think everybody that is a sports gaming fan, a basketball gaming fan, they want to see gameplay, and they want to see that, the EA team can prove that they really do come, with some solid gameplay. And that's going to be the kind of the anchor to the franchise moving forward, because graphics and pretty stuff, that's all good and nice and fine, but at the end of the day, I want to be able to play the game and feel like I'm playing an NBA game. I don't want it to just be some razzle-dazzle with, really crappy controls,
Cool. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Thanks, Craig.
Cool.